Okay, we have cut to live pictures coming in from Moscow, where it seems Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Air India One has landed. Those are the first pictures of the landing of Air India One. Prime Minister's aircraft there in Moscow, landing in Moscow, taxiing after landing. And remember, it's 24 hours of packed schedule for the Prime Minister, chock-a-block with meetings, most of them with President Putin. In fact, there are two restricted format meetings, one after the private dinner tonight, which is being hosted by President Putin at his dacha, and the other is tomorrow, before the delegation-level talks. Prime Minister has landed. We have cut full frame to those pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi landing at the Moscow airport, and with this, the important visit of PM to Russia has begun. In fact, this is his first visit, first bilateral visit to a foreign shore after taking over in the third term. He has already been to Italy to attend the G7 summit, but it was a multilateral format meeting. But this one is a bilateral visit, and a significant departure from the tradition that the Prime Minister had established of visiting a neighborhood country. So in 2014, it was Bhutan. 2019, it was Maldives. But this time, it's Russia. And that really underscores the signaling coming in from the Modi government, which is that they are not going to be browbeaten into any kind of reactions when it comes to Russia. Prime Minister Modi is underscoring the significance of Russia in India's national security architecture. Even otherwise, it's a historical, traditional relationship before it was upgraded as a special and privileged strategic relationship in 2010. And so the acknowledgement there coming in from the Modi government that even as we improve our relationship with the West, even if we engage more and more with the West, we are not going to forget our traditional partnership and the old one with Russia. In fact, two flags flying atop the cockpit of Air India One, the Russian and the Indian. As Prime Minister has landed, in fact, the Russian and the Austrian, these are the two countries the Prime Minister would be visiting. All right, soon we'll have pictures of Prime Minister coming out of that aircraft. This is the moment of touchdown. Wheels down, as they say, of Air India One, and taxiing its way. I believe in a bit, once the preparations for the welcome ceremony at the airport are ready, we are going to see pictures again coming in of a Prime Minister coming out. These pictures are courtesy Russia Today. Remember, Republic TV is bringing to you these pictures first up, an exclusive ahead of anyone else due to our tie-up with Russia Today. The touchdown moment there of Prime Minister Narendra Modi landing in Moscow. And he's going to be heading straight to his hotel at Carlton, earlier called Ritz-Carlton. But after the war, the Western franchise withdrawing its name, and it's now called Carlton. My Prime Minister is going to be welcomed there by the Indian community present in Moscow. And before that, of course, a ceremonial welcome also planned at the airport itself. And then, of course, immediately he heads to Kremlin, where he would be received by the president over a private dinner, following which the two leaders are slated for a one-on-one. And for that, the two leaders would be driving about 35 kilometers outside of Moscow to President Putin's private dacha. And these are pictures of the landing of Prime Minister's aircraft. And I stand corrected, the two flags on Air India One are that of Russia and India, not of Austria. And this is the touchdown moment. And we are going to connect with our reporter on the ground, either with Sucharita. She's going to be reporting from Hotel Carlton, where the Prime Minister is going to be reaching a while from now, or from Russia Today. And remember, this is a momentous occasion in a way, in India-Russia relationship, because the visit of Prime Minister is coming at a time when there has been an escalation in Russia's war with Ukraine. In fact, as we speak today, there has been a missile bombing inside Kiev, which is after a long gap. Earlier, the war had got limited to areas which Russia was controlling and was focused on flushing out remnants of Ukrainian security presence there. And today there has been a missile attack on Kiev and Prime Minister landing there. Remember also that Prime Minister's visit to Moscow is coming at a time when NATO countries are meeting in Washington, D.C. to formalize their strategy going forward after a change of guard that has happened there. Jens Stoltenberg, the NATO chief, handing over the baton to Mark Rutte, who was the Prime Minister of Denmark and has now taken over as the next NATO chief. That was, of course, in the pipeline, and a lot of changes on the ground happening in European politics also. And we are going to have a lot of conversation on what this really means. But an important visit panning out there, the pictures touchdown of Air India One there as Prime Minister makes way to Moscow. Okay, by the time that we get you the pictures of Prime Minister coming out and being received in a welcome ceremony at the airport itself, let's look at one more ground report filed by Sucharita from Moscow.